Now adventure bikes have risen in popularity. They are packed with electronic gadgets and full of tech, but they've lost their simplicity, the brash color schemes, and strayed miles from the dirt tracks they could once take on. And today, we take a brief look at 10 adventure motorcycles that ooze the cool, sorely missing from the modern technology-packed barges. Honda must have seen what BMW was doing with their GS lineup and felt that their own was severely lacking. Before Africa Twin, Honda was struggling to find a way into the rising ADV market. The Transar was their way in. It wasn't perfect by all means, and it was definitely more street-oriented. But it was reliable, comfortable, and it eventually developed its own fanbase. Its subsequent cult status had built up enough momentum for Honda to once again bring it back to the market. Now the new model is being released in the global markets. The new bike harkens back to their 80s version with its looks, but it is the price that will be the winning spec here, coming in just under $10,000. The Tiger 900, also known as Steamer back in 1993, was a variation of the brand's versatile 3- and 4-cylinder bikes that were designed courtesy of their newly legalized plastic fuel tank with integrated fairing, long travel suspension with MX bars, and off-road focused tires with knobbies. It was an excellent motorcycle thanks to its torquey 85 horsepower 885cc triple cylinder and Triumph's good handling characteristics. This is the bike that kicked off the Tiger 900 series after all. Arguably the best of all the Italian adventure bikes, the Elephant managed to blend a heritage of its own. The Kaja Elephant Lucky Explorer is another 90s Italian adventure motorcycle, which can also be found badged up as a Ducati E900. The Elephant was powered by the same engine as Ducati's 900 SS. Producing 65 horsepower, it's got plenty for everyday riding and is far from slow. A number of variants were made, including a 750, but the replica 900i injected version is the one to go for. Yamaha's response to Honda's Africa Twin proved to be one of the best bikes of the whole genre. Already a cult bike, the Super Tenor hardly needs an introduction. The paint schemes alone make it impossibly cool. Model production ran from 1989 to 1996, and the bike remained largely unchanged throughout its life. The Super Tenor's engine is a parallel twin liquid-cooled 749cc 4-stroke, producing a modest but manageable 65 horsepower. It was less durable than its Honda rival, or as cosseted by its owners. However, so fewer survive today. A 90s Italian adventure bike probably isn't high up on anyone's list for crossing the Sahara on, but the Rotax engined Aprilia was capable of exactly that. The Touareg single-cylinder air-cooled engine produced 40 horsepower, and with its 21-inch front wheel, 17-inch rear, and 18.5-liter tank, the bike is perfect for hacking down trails or into work. Few made it to the UK, and fewer still survive, so you're extremely unlikely to see one today. Another great bike from an era where they named bikes right. Suzuki's huge single-cylinder engine Dr. Big, also known as the Desert Express, is a proper bit of kit. The original bike was a DR 750, introduced in 1988, offering a 727cc single-cylinder engine running carbs and pumping out around 45 horsepower. 2 years later, the DR 750's stroke was increased by 6 mm and the 779cc, 52 horsepower DR 800 was born. The bike continued in this form, complete with distinctive beak, as the world's largest single-cylinder production bike, until being discontinued in 1999. Possibly one of the least convincing of the early days of 90s adventure bikes. Although unstartling, it was a great all-rounder. The mighty Kawasaki KLR 650, which has a legacy of reliability and simplicity, and yet it often stands in the shadow of newer, fancier adventure models. Factors such as evolving rider preferences and the amalgamation of unnecessary fancy tech on competitor offerings have contributed to its underappreciated status. Even today, its raw feel is something that reminds you of the days gone by, a time when motorcycles were simple yet effective. And this is a bike for adventure riders who want a no-nonsense approach to exploration. Although the CRF 1000L Africa Twin may have brought the Africa Twin name back to life, the original XRV 750 Africa Twin should not be forgotten. Africa Twin initially launched as 650cc in 1988 by the name XRV 650. By 90 it turned into a softly tuned 742cc V-twin. It's a manageable 189 kilograms dry and 219 kilograms fully fueled and ready to go. 20 years ago no one was that bothered by them. But over the past few years they're becoming a cult in the adventure world and prices are on the rise. It's a cool Honda, and there aren't many of those. In the 90s, Italian motorcycles were raining one after another. This one is courtesy of Guzzi, who is still one of the most premium motorcycle manufacturers today. The Quota was quite possibly the most infamous and ridiculous Dakar look-alike adventure motorcycle ever. By the late 1980s, almost every manufacturer had been drawn to Dakar-inspired styling. The most notable of these was undoubtedly the weirdly named Guzzi ADV, which came with a massive 949cc transverse V-twin with long suspension, off-road wheels, and an enormous fairing. The BMW R1100 GS is what gave birth to the GS effect. The BMW R1100 GS, the first enduro motorcycle with a 4-valve engine, made its debut in 1993 and was available for sale to riders from 1994 through 1999. The R1100 GS was preceded by the R100 GS and the R80 GS. The dual sport bike featured a 1085cc flat twin engine. It cranked out 80 horsepower with 97 Nm torque. This sporty model was a welcome addition to the fans who were looking for a sportier ride that still maintained the smooth ride and comfort of a touring bike. It was so popular that many people own one to date and have even logged significant miles, whether from adventure trips or just going about their daily lives in the city.